Welcome back, you guys. And before we hop into today's video, I would like to announce that we have a Nailed It newsletter where we be emailing information about new drops, exclusive discount codes. They'll even be the first to try our new products, and you can sign up in the link in our description. Emails will pop up in your inbox every Monday and Friday, so sign up now so you don't miss out on this opportunity.
What is this over?
Welcome back to a new video, you guys, and today we're going to be doing an ombre set on our press-on nails while also talking about our experience working at Chipotle. To start off the nail, after I buffed it, I started off with white and added it to the tip of the nail and blended that out at the top immediately and let the bottom dry. The reason why you want to do that is so that when you get done with the nail, you won't see any hard lines or it won't look choppy when you are blending the next bead that you see me placing right on top of that. As I'm placing down the bead, I'm blending out the bottom first, letting the top dry, and then going back over to blend out the top. And the temperature of your room is very important because it dictates how fast the monomer is going to dry. You mainly want to have a cool room to work in, or just add monomer as you continue to shape the bead into the shape that you want. One thing I do struggle with is my sides and spreading the monomer evenly. Though sometimes I add a little bit of acrylic to the sides of the nails just so it could be fuller, but as I grow and do more acrylic sets, I run into this problem less and less. Now I'm going to tell you about the time a customer actually threw money at me while I was a cashier at Chipotle. So the shift started off as normal. I was working a 10 a.m. to 3. Of course, we had a few hiccups here and there, but none of them amounted to how crazy this experience was for me. You see me here just making sure everything's flat and making sure everything's blended out before I go in and with the pink bead at the top. Here I am just repeating the process of adding the white at the bottom of the tip and building my way up the nail to create that ombre effect. If you have a different way of doing this, maybe you start at the top and then work your way at the bottom. Let me know in the comments below. I do find this way of working my way up the nail a lot better and a lot more control over how much I'm gonna use, because I can use one bead and that can cover the entire tip of the nail, and I will only need another small white bead towards the midsection of the nail. I really get a lot of control of how many beads that I do use, so I won't be flooding the nail and it won't look chunky. But as I was saying, our peak times at Chipotle are usually between the afternoon and go about till 5 o'clock, and I was working a good chunk of that afternoon. The lines were extremely long, like wrapped around and almost out the door. And if you also worked at Chipotle, DML, the digital make line, was also backed up, so we can't help each other. And it was also very short staffed. So it was truly every man for himself during this whole shift. For this specific customer in particular, she was making a lot of ruckus and a lot of conflict at the beginning of the line. And by beginning of the line, I'm talking about when you meet your employee that's telling you, do you want a bowl, do you want a burrito? That's the beginning. And where I'm at, I'm working the cashier station. I'm at the end where you get to be sent off, you pay for your food, and you go out the door. And as a cashier at Chipotle, you are doing more than just cashing people out. You're paying attention to a lot of the bathroom. You're making sure the front area where people sit down looks good. You're managing the ice machine and the drink machine and restocking and attending to customers' questions. So you're doing a lot more than just standing around waiting for people to complete their order to check them out. So in regards to what she was doing at the beginning of the line, the beginning of her ordering process, I heard a lot of ruckus, but I thought nothing of it. Then she started getting upset about our cheese portioning, which is something that is not enforced by the employees whatsoever. It's enforced by people that are in charge, the managers and everything, because every hour we get a certain amount of cheese that we can use in order to like maintain the amount of cheese for the day, for the next day, because I guess week restaurants get a new supply and we have to make that supply last. And they will also make us charge for extra cheese. And that will obviously put a divide between the employee and the customer, because the customer is mad at us when we're being told to do this. So it gets to me at the end of the line, and so I'm bagging her stuff up and I'm moving swiftly, like I'm putting things on the table, and she's noticing like, did you just throw my chips down? And I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? No, I did not. She was like, no, I just saw you do that. And I'm like, girl, I didn't do none of that. And I continued to go on with the process, but that caused her to be more aggressive, and it ended up her getting loud. And I'm like, girl, I'm not dealing with this. I call a manager and everything just to assess the situation. Before I even do that, I'm like, the total is this. She threw the money at me. Like, she like made it rain on my head. And I'm like, girl, I'm not dealing with this. I grabbed the manager, and she was even getting loud with the manager and the security guard as well. When they tried to escort her to leave, I ended up going to the back of the restaurant to sit in the office just to cool down from the situation, because I'm not finna go and check somebody out who just threw money at me. And everyone else saw it, like, and her son was watching this happen, just standing off in the sidelines like this was a normal day, like she do this every day. Like, if this was my mom and it's over a chipotle bowl, girl, I would leave so fast. I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching you go through this over some damn $20 bowl. Like, you could go somewhere else and get better service, or even get more for your money compared to Chipotle. Then when the situation settles down and stuff like that, she still wants the food at the end of the day. So I come back to the register and I'm hoping to deal with a different customer, or just check other people out while she's getting her situation assessed with the security guard and the manager. And she comes back to me. The money is still on the floor. She comes back to me. I tell her the total. She's like, oh, you didn't pick the money up? Who the fuck was finna do that? Nobody's finna pick that money up off the floor like I'm less than you. And that shows how the people who work and choose to work in fast food, like human beings, like, we choose to serve you. And definitely, I don't think people think through the fact that, especially when they chose to come here and work, and you're dealing with someone who is processing your food. That's what I'll never get. You should always be nice to people, especially fast food workers that are handling your food, because there could be a different situation. And I'm not saying that it's our restaurant in particular, but if you're being mean to people that's handling your food, they could very well spit in it. They can do anything to it, and you just thinking that you're right all the time, and you get to treat people any type of way without any repercussion, essentially. So I told her, no, I didn't pick it up. And she like, why? And then my manager go ahead and pick the money up and processes the order for me, because it was going to escalate from there. And she ended up leaving the store. A lot of my Chipotle stories are going to be very short, because the experience that I have is very, like, less than a minute interactions that have, like, a long time effect and contributed why I had chose to leave. It was mainly due to, like, customer treatment also. And I thought that, moving further away from where I lived was going to change the customer experience that I was going to have, but it ended up not being that way. It only been a waste of time and money spent on transportation, working at a job where I was constantly being disrespected. Now you see me applying the pink right above the white and blending out the bottom first before I go to the top of the bead to blend. and pat down. You can see here that the pink kind of bleeded into the white, and when that happens, I usually go in with some additional monomer and kind of like remove that and press that away. If that doesn't work, I'll go in with the drill and lightly drill off that layer of pink so that the white will show up more. And I continue that process as I work my way to the cuticle area of the nail. And what made that chipotle situation a lot worse was the fact that I had to leave right after my shift, and I was scared to even step out and she'll see me again and recognize me and stuff like that. Another crazy experience that I had went through when working at Chipotle was a older black lady had called me racist for my cheese portioning. And this was during the time, one of my first couple of weeks of training while being on the front line. I was so nervous because I'm not a people's person. But this man that was in front of her, he was of a different race, and he had a burrito, a chicken burrito. He had cheese on his too. The cheese portioning is supposed to be like a pinch. Like when you make like that puppet hand mouth with your hand, that's how much cheese that we're told to put on it. We moved on to her bowl, and she was like, can you put more cheese? And I was like, that'll be extra. And she was like, but you added more cheese to him. And my coworker was standing next to me because she was training me, and she was like, oh, you're being racist to me. And I'm looking at my skin color, and it's the same as hers. And then my coworker stepped in, and she was like, how is she being racist when she's black also? And I'm like, what's going on? That just confused the hell out of me. There was another instance between a security guard that works at Chipotle and the DoorDash driver. So I was on break when this happened, and I was watching the whole thing happen from top to bottom. So this guy came in twice, and on his first try, he had got his order for the person. The security guard didn't pay him no mind. He just grabbed the order and go. I was like, okay. So he came back again, but this time he had to wait because there was another DoorDash driver that needed the security guard's assistance, and so the security guard was helping him find the order and stuff like that. And when he got it, first DoorDasher felt some type of way and was like, so you helping them? I bet. So the security guard asked the first guy, I need to confirm your order. Because they be on those TikToks where people be trying to get free food by stealing other people DoorDash orders, because nobody be monitoring the online pickup shelf. Because the DoorDashers, you can do that on DoorDash where you can pick like 2 different orders but from the same restaurant. And so the security guard asked for confirmation from the first DoorDasher and was like, can we just confirm that you're grabbing the right order? So the DoorDasher just shoved it in the security guard's face. Like, he shoved his phone in his face. And I find that so disrespectful. Like, if you're a DoorDasher, please don't ever do that to nobody, no restaurant owner, because they had done that to me several times, and I almost don't play. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching it. The security guard looking back at me. I'm looking back at him like, I just peeped that. The security guard was like, don't shove that in my face. Don't put that in my face. The DoorDasher was acting confused, knowing damn well he was wrong. And so he was getting loud with the security guard. And the security guard was like, what are you getting loud for? And so the security guard getting loud back. It was like, don't put your phone in my face. You shoved your phone. You did exactly like this to me. Don't do that. That's when it just escalated from there. The manager was called in. They was having a whole debacle. Like, it was so weird to see that whole debacle. And I wasn't in it. I wasn't finna give no 2 cents. I recorded it, but I think I deleted it. But yeah, that happened. Right here, I'm just using a 80 by 80 grit nail file to chip away some unwanted acrylic, and also to reform the nail to be more of a sleeker shape. I would use a e-file, but the hand file gives more control and more ability to shape the nails exactly how you want them to. When I'm filing, I'm focusing more on the white part to make sure the ombre is more clear, and I'm focusing on the pink parts that bled over into the white, which I mentioned earlier in the video. My main reason of doing this was to see if acrylic was going to shrink the nail beds down. So I purposely went a size above my natural nail because I usually wear a 2 in thumb, but now I chose to pick a 0 in thumb and completely tripled the sizing of this set, and to see if it was going to fit perfectly, when in actuality it's going to overlay because the nail cover size is too big. And for the most part, by the end of this set, it was still too big on my nails. I heard a rumor around that said the acrylic, as it dries up, is going to like cause the nail tip or the nail cover to minimize. And I want to put that to the test here because we do have acrylic sets on our shop that you can purchase, but it could be a little iffy if the acrylic, you get the sample sizing kit that's on our shop and you get the acrylic set and there's 2 different sizes. Like your set that you bought doesn't fit no more, but the nail cover does. So we mainly wanted to tackle that myth, and it's false, baby, it's false. Though my Chipotle experience was a little tragic, to sum it up. It was a learning experience because it was my first job after the pandemic, returning back to customer service and actually being in person for the first time and interacting with customers face to face. I learned a lot from that job, and I'm not saying it's a terrible job, but you're going to get a sort of backlash when working there and pushback from all angles. And I think that's the one thing that needs to be fixed, is we're reinforcing portioning that also gets the customers angry but makes our managers happy. And when we don't do that and actually help the customer out but make our managers angry in terms of incorrect portioning, I've actually seen someone actually get fired because they gave too much cheese and they didn't charge. Like, it's that serious, and Chipotle don't play about portioning. And so what I'm thinking or seeing, like, after 2 years since working there and seeing people like film people make their bowls, I don't think that's going to change anything in regards to like portion sizes. I think Chipotle is going to stick with the same thing they've been doing, and that's a little sad, but nevertheless, it's something that like it needs to be changed. It needs to be taken seriously. Portioning has always been like a pinch of cheese and then a whole spoonful of meat. For the guac, they have us like scoop it up, pan it, smack it down, so it could be a level spoonful of guac and place it on the bowl. And the last thing I'll say in regards to Chipotle, if you're still thinking of applying, I say do it. If you have good customer service and you don't mind it or can find a healthy medium behind it, I still say apply to it. A good job to learn of what to do when there's angry customers and how to avoid quickly or de-escalate a situation very quickly. I also say dabble into that mental health fit that they have, just to get a therapist. This video was an overall reflect of my experience working at Chipotle and dealing with the customer. Even more stories from our Chipotle experience, or just experience working at other customer service jobs. We got all the tea. Just comment down below part 2 for our Shake Shack experience, because that one was a traumatizing experience, just to say the least. You see here that we're just making like this design inspired by this dress here. Before we had done so, we applied matte top coat over our filed ombre so that none of the nail dust that may still be on the nail gets into the nail polish and ruins the design and makes it all grainy. We then added some rhinestones using this rhinestone gel, and then added top coat above that to make it last longer. And that's basically it for today's video. I really hope you like this story time. This is something new that we're trying out. And again, let us know if you want that other Shake Shack experience for the next video as well. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Share more things that you want us to try with nails. We have our Etsy shop that's linked down below, as well as the nail newsletter that you can sign up to for updates.
You got me paying for shit. You got a 2-day trial before I take back my time and make you pay. 30-day trial before I made my mind that it's always trials and tribulations. Child, child, child. Look, bitch, I'm a star, got these niggas wishing. He say